I'm Peter Baird from Your Water, Your Say, a group of committed water conservationists who oppose desalination. I'm standing here at the mouth of the Powlett River, adjacent to the site of the proposed desalination plant. Okay, we believe this desalination plant to be a major problem. It is a producer of large amounts of greenhouse gas.
How much?
It produces the equivalent of putting 280,000 extra cars on the road per year and exacerbates climate change. So it reduces rainfall in our food producing areas. No desalination plant can make up for reduced rainfall. The ocean just beyond the river mouth here is where the outlet from the desalination process will be pumping brine, chemically laced brine into the ocean. That's the end product of the desalination process. That means up to 800 litres of chlorine a day, and that's the equivalent chlorine used in 500 Olympic swimming pools, as well as other chemicals that will be finding their way into the ecology out here, and probably under certain conditions finding their way back up this river estuary as well. There have been no long-term studies done on the effects of desalination plants on marine ecology. The danger with chlorine is that when it interacts with an organism, it actually kills it by interacting with the ammonium in the organism, and then it becomes what's called a chloramine. And so that's basically the stuff that's leading the pipe, because it's the chlorine after it's killed the organisms in the pipe. So it becomes chloramine. Now, the danger out here is that, as we know, Wonthaggi is a coal mining area and there are underwater coal seams. If chloramine then comes into contact with a carbonaceous compound, which can be either coal, oil, tar or something of that nature, it then becomes a PCB, which is one of the most poisonous and carcinogenic substances known to man. There is definitely a possibility that, that you could get an incident where this might happen. The other real problem with desalination is that it turns water from a free circulating global element that is the birthright of everyone and everything into a manufactured commodity that can be charged for by a private company. The Victorian government will be committed to pay an agreed amount to said company, which will be a multinational company, for a period of 20 to 30 years. And we are talking anything from 200 to 500 million a year. No matter how many desalination plants we build, we're never going to solve Melbourne's water problem, because until we change our behaviour, until we can change our consumption practices, we will always have a water problem. The average suburban block in Melbourne receives 8 times as much water in rainfall per annum as it uses. Yeah, that's the truth.
Wow.
So we have this, we still, even with reduced rainfall, we still have this resource falling out of the sky onto our roofs, and if we capture it and store it in such a way that it doesn't evaporate, we virtually have enough water for all of our requirements. If 60% of people in Melbourne had a water tank in their own backyard, we'd generate the same amount of water as this desalination plant, and you would own your own water. This is a really beautiful and unique stretch of coastline right on Melbourne's doorstep, and we'd like the people of Melbourne to be able to enjoy it just the same as the locals do. We can't imagine it being the same experience with a 40-hectare desalination plant right in the middle of the coastal plain adjacent to this beach. That's about the size of the MCG or Southland, if you want some kind of comparison. I'm asking people of Melbourne to put their weight behind this campaign.